Okay, we talked a bit about the radio videos in the last video. We talked a little bit about Athens, Tennessee, and how the people rose up and took care of business against the sheriff, and how he had a tyrannical hold over that town back in the day after World War II. They took care of that situation right quick. And they did it with guns. Okay? Now, look it up. There's going to be a whole video on it, I'm sure. So, they did it the right way. They basically said, knock this crap off, and if you don't, we're just going to have to handle it. So, they relocated all the votes to the station. Okay? And they were going to manipulate the election again and so forth. And those World War II vets, they said, you know what? It's time to get the guns. We're going to go down and take care of business. So they did. There was a shootout, and they arrested a bunch of sheriff's deputies, and they took care of the whole thing, and somebody got properly elected. Okay, so we talked about the radios, we talked about the Athens, Tennessee thing, we talked about voter fraud and so on in the last video. We continued again talking about Athens, Tennessee. I want to talk about this Trump situation again for a few minutes, okay? Because things have been happening over the past couple days, right? There's always something new, right? Minute by minute, things are happening. So originally, when this situation went down, Butler, I think it was Butler Police, okay? I think it was Butler Police. They supposedly had the guy, the shooter, okay? Actually, they said that they had the shooter. They said that they had the shooter, okay? And they identified him. They identified him as this guy, Mark Violets. And they said that he had been a member of Antifa, right? Now, then, late yesterday, the story changed. Now they're identifying this guy as Thomas Crooks. Two different pictures, two different people. The media is identifying the guy as Thomas Crooks, a 20-year-old male, who they say, oh, he's a registered Republican. Because why? Because they want to make it look like Republicans are the bad guys. It's a narrative. I mean, we all know it. Now, the thing about this is that this guy, two different guys here, but now they're pinning it on this guy, Thomas Crooks. So, conveniently, Mark Violets fades away into the background, right? So, this Thomas Crooks guy, he is a Democrat and has donated to the Democrat Party, okay, the communists, because they're the Communist Party, really. And, but he is a registered Republican. Now, what I have learned about this situation is that since Democrats are crooked from the get-go, they've always been crooked, and they're just more crooked now, because they are connivers and manipulators and so on. So what they do is they register as a Republican. And in the early stages, before the actual presidential election, you know, the primaries, right? Like you had this idiot Nikki Haley running, right? Under the Republican ticket, but everybody knew that she was part of the communists and a globalist, okay? And so she would have taken votes away from Trump. Right? So it went through the whole thing. Nobody wanted her. Nobody wanted DeSantis. Nobody wanted this person. Nobody wanted that person. They all want Trump, right? But the idea that these Democrats have, these communists, is that they're going to go in and they're going to cast a vote for somebody who is not the obvious choice that's being favored. Okay? To take votes away from the top dog. Right? That's what they're doing. Just to make it clear, right, as to why this guy is a registered Republican. Okay, but I will still maintain that this is a whole inside job. That this was not a facade. People died. Okay, this was not something that was just you had crisis actors and all that. You know, they've done that before. The government's done that before in the past with crisis actors and all that stuff. We know that. But this was not that. This was a real hit job done by the communists who call themselves Democrats. They've been talking about it for years. Even the past week, Joe Biden, potato head, said we need to put a bullseye on Trump. You know, everybody's talking about that. Everybody's talking about all of these Looney Tune leftist lunatics that have asked Biden to put a hit out on Trump. And nothing was ever done about that. Nobody went out and arrested them, right? Nobody went out and arrested them. But if a normal person says, hey, knock off Potato Head, oh, immediately they would be seized. And it would be big news. Okay. So not only did they try to knock off Trump, but they can't even get their story right. They can't get their story right. Here's the thing. This is a potential president of the United States and a former president of the United States has Secret Service and local law enforcement there, supposedly for security. Before the event ever happens, they're going to do a sweep. And they're going to check out all potential places as to where somebody could get in. You know, they're going to secure the perimeter. They're security. They're putting out snipers for security. They've got drones. They ain't like the old days when they didn't have drones. They got drones now. They do a security sweep of all the people. They check all buildings. They check for high spots, best vantage for a shot, and all that stuff. They check all that stuff. They're supposed to check all that stuff. There was no lapse of security here. None. I'm going to tell you right now, there was no lapse of security. These guys, they were either Secret Service or they were law enforcement, you know, on the sniper roll. Looked like they had MRADs, Barrett MRADs. That's what it looked like to me when I saw them. And they shot after the fact. Now let me tell you something. This nonsense of them waiting for permission to fire, that is nonsense. When you're in that position, when there is a position of this sort where you're the sniper and somebody, a target presents itself, that you know the guy's trying to assassinate the president or the potential president. You don't call for permission. You're going to take out that guy. You're going to take that guy out. You're just going to take him out. And then afterwards, You deal with the consequences of the action afterwards. You have to make an executive decision to take the shot. It's your call. As the sniper, it's your call as a sniper as to whether you take the shot or not. You don't radio up for permission to take the shot in that sort of situation. You don't. You're just going to take him out. So, none of that washes. This whole scenario that they're giving doesn't wash. You know, I understand Mr. Trump is, you know, trying to be cordial and thanking the Secret Service and thanking the local law enforcement and all that. But man, they were paid by the left. That was a total hit job. That's my opinion. And if you have a different opinion, okay, fine. Because we're in the United States, we're entitled to our own opinions. And we're going to keep it that way. Just letting you know. We're going to keep it that way. So, I got 3 minutes, almost 4 minutes left. So I'm going to tell you about a dream I had last night. You guys probably get tired of hearing about my dreams and stuff, right? Anyway, if you want to click off, click off. But I'm going to tell you. So last night, well actually it was early in the morning this morning, I had this dream. I was in a department store. And I was there talking with somebody that I knew. And then all of a sudden these three people came in and they were really dirty. Like they had been living outside all the time. Maybe even addicts or something. And one of them starts rolling around on the floor and making different sounds, whatever. And then that scene cuts away. And then in the next scene, I'm standing in this. It's about the size of an airplane hangar, if you know how big of an airplane hangar is. This building has carpeted floor, and there's a lot of people there. And I feel like they're the people from the store, the department store. I feel like it's all of the people that were there at the department store shopping. That's how I felt about it. And people had been separated into men and women. And I knew somebody across the way. I saw somebody across the way that I knew again. It might have been the same person I was talking to in the first scene. But in the middle of this scenario, this guy about 6'6" starts walking kind of down the middle of the hangar, and he yells at everybody, and he's got a big billy club, right? Big nightstick. And he looks like kind of like a British bobby, but no hat. And he's walking kind of down the middle of the area, and he yells for everybody to get down on their knees. And I'm just standing there because I ain't getting on my knees, right? I saw some people kind of hesitating. A bunch of people had already gotten down on their knees. And the person that I had been talking to was over that way, and they didn't get down on their knees, but they weren't facing me. They weren't facing me. And the guy walked by, and he saw that I wasn't complying, right? And he points his nightstick at me, and he said something, you know, like I'm supposed to do what he says, right? And I said, you know what? Hey, so-and-so, we're out of here. And then I just started walking that way, walking to where I was going to go out. They followed me. And then all of a sudden, everybody that was complying was like, you know what? This is bull crap. Yeah, we're out of here too. So, we'll talk about that in the next video.